Welcome to Pizza Garden Podcasts. This is Pizza Garden's macro show. I am your host, Pizza Garden. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We have had a very volatile month in the month of May with a lot of developments coming. And today, I guess, is just about getting into all of the major developments that has happened on May 30th and 31st. Couple things I want to get into before I get this podcast started. First off, I am not an investment professional. Please do not take any of my advice with any grains of salt, sand, or anything else small and insignificant that you can make it with. So, this being said, I am just an angry guy yelling at a camera and letting you know what I am seeing and what I think about it. I am just an angry journalist, except I'm not typing anything because I'm bearish on the stock market. So, this being said, the broader averages for the US stock markets closed lower on the day, on the week, and on the month. The Nasdaq and the S&P reaching correction territory, both down more than 10% from the highs. The Dow Jones not quite in correction territory yet. No, they are in correction territory. From the highs of 26,951, spot 81. However, they did not come up and make a new high in the month of May. They only peaked up to 26,400, the Dow Jones 30, and is still falling from that point, only down about 8 and 9%. The S&P 500 down from the new highs reached in the month of May of 2,954.13. The Nasdaq falling all the way from 8,000 levels, 8,176.08, and the Russell 2000, the index getting hit hard the most, coming from the highs of 1,742.09. The Dow Transports down the most. Obviously, these stocks are going to be hit the hardest with the Trump trade tariffs coming um, out of China during the month of May, as well as continuations on auto tariffs from the European markets. There's shaky trade relations, as we knew. There were some people from the Trump administration, if not Trump himself, going overseas to Great Britain to negotiate trade deals, especially with Britain on the brink of Brexit and Theresa May stepping down as PM. That deal is going to have to be done. There were overnight announcements on May 30th at about 7:30 p.m. on Twitter from Donald Trump announcing 5% tariffs on Mexican goods coming from Mexico across the border, effective June 10th. So we have 9 days from this recording date until these tariffs go into effect. Due to the immigration problem and the drug problem coming over the border. So basically what Donald Trump is saying is, we are going to tariff you until you do something about the people running through your cities and coming into our country. Now, I don't understand. I mean, I've talked to some people and they've helped me explain to see that the they're gonna see it in their economic numbers, Mexico is, and because the United States is one of Mexico's most important trade partners, with all of the current trade tensions that are going on geopolitically between the Asias, the Pacific Islands, Europe, Canada. I don't think that economically the United States can support any more trade wars, especially ones with Mexico. Mexico's economy is already hurting, and there are going to be plenty of other countries on the markets who are going to find a want for the building supply of Mexico's goods because America isn't going to buy them at the price increases. And sometimes the goods may not even be increased at the price they are. It would be the choice of the of the retailer in America to not buy those products from their manufacturers. And the issue of taxing American citizens because Mexican citizens are not complying with the Mexican government in regards to border security. I mean, Mexico's obviously not going to pay the tariffs, as we know that America doesn't, or China doesn't pay the Chinese tariffs. Mexico's not going to pay for the tariffs. And they're certainly not going to do anything about their border security. So that's two things that Donald Trump has said that Mexico would pay for that they now haven't: tariffs and the wall. In fact, the Mexican tariffs would hurt the immigrants. I mean, I guess Donald Trump increasing the prices of American goods for the American consumer to buy would deter Mexican immigrants from coming over the border and subjecting themselves to the price hikes and the tariffs and the tax increases that they would have to pay. So you wouldn't necessarily have to pay income tax as an illegal immigrant. You don't really have a social security number. You don't have any forms of identification within the states if you had just come across the border. And say you need a pack of cigarettes from the convenience store, or you happen to go into Walmart because you need some food, you're going to end up paying all those tariffs as a Mexican immigrant coming over here in America. So that would be a disincentive to come over to America illegally anymore, is because the cost of living is now just that much higher. The pain today in the stock markets was widespread. Many big companies seeing 52-week lows. We have 3M, Goodyear Tires, Dow, Steel Dynamics, Honda Motors, the United States Steel Company, and the retailer Kohl's. The company Gap gapped down. Sorry, I had to quote Peter Schiff. That was absolutely hilarious. 26% today. Absolutely just torched themselves on weak earnings because investors have this mindset that technology is taking over and brick and mortar stores are now a thing of the past, which, in my opinion, they will be. However, just not now. I think there may be something different with Gap and just a normal revenue miss or an earnings miss or a profit miss is would be the start of a breakdown of a company such as Gap. Kohl's as well. Kohl's still having 52-week lows. The only major market that saw a significant tick up today was gold and silver and the commodities market. The price of gold up 18.4 on the day, breaking above the $1,300 mark. We closed at 1306 per ounce of gold. The price of silver closing at 14.555 per ounce. And if the precious metals, the bond markets, as well as the yields, the inversion of the yield curve at the early ends between the 3-month, the 6-month, the year, and the 2-year, as well as the 5-year, if we see this inversion of the yield curve, the tick up in the gold markets, the tick up in the precious metals markets, we have so many central banks that are buying more and more and more gold, and they're ramping up their gold production, they're ramping up their gold inventories, then how does that not speak recession for anybody? There is increased volatility in the crypto space amongst all these trade talks going on. Well, not really trade talks because they're fucking failing. The dollar index actually ticked down, spot 378, down 0.39%. The dollar, expecting a much greater fall here in the future. The price of Bitcoin, speaking of the volatility in the crypto space, as I'm recording, the price of Bitcoin is trading around $8,520.40 per Bitcoin. They're up $194 on the day. It's just Saturday, June 1st. Maybe there might be a June swoon in the crypto market if there's not one in the stock markets, which I don't think there will be one. The cryptocurrency Bitcoin intraday moved from the lows of 8,100 at 10:30 in the morning to a high of just about 8,900. It's an $800 move. So if anybody is seeking Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a safe haven, it's a damn joke. US dollar may be down 37 cents. The S&P may be down 1.32%. However, they would be down at least 10 times as much if Donald Trump would do what he was promised to do when he ran for president. I don't know a single company that would be able to make a profit if they produced 100% entirely the supply chain, what was demanded to create the product. I mean, shit. Just think about making a phone. You need aluminum, plastic, glass, circuitry. Um, you need gold. There's gold in phones. Um, you need programmers. You just need so much shit. So much of one single part of a supply chain that it's going to take so much money. It's going to cost so much, take so much time. We're going to have to retrain everybody. It's just Donald Trump does not appreciate comparative advantages and the benefits that the American consumer has when he is able to have their product made overseas and just simply buy it. When the dollar falls, we're going to need to get rid of these tariffs or else, and it's going to be too late. Donald Trump tariffs also hit the oil market. I'm going to finish off this podcast by talking a little bit about the price of oil, falling 3% on the day to $53. It is now down just about 15% from its peak of $65 a barrel. And everything that has been happening with the stock markets, inflation, the price of oil, trade, with the end of quantitative tightening, Donald Trump is giving exactly what the Federal Reserve wants to do in order to cut interest rates. So Donald Trump's tweets may come to fruition. We may have an immediate end to quantitative easing. We may have 50 basis point rate cut, 75, 100 basis point. We may have a 225 basis point rate cut and get back to the levels where I'm saying that the Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates because they have nowhere else to go and because they're too dumb to do the right thing. Thank you guys for watching Pizza Garden Podcast. Have yourself a wonderful day.